Hi, it's Ken Jacobs, and welcome back to Taking the Lead. For May, we're going to do a brief solo, what we call a solo video, and this one's all about time management and productivity. I know that's important to all of you. I mean, your time is your most precious asset. So, think about this. Our calendars show what's important to us. Maybe they show meetings and brainstorms and client meetings and Zoom calls and things like that. But you're a leader. You should be spending more time thinking about your internal and external clients, about achieving your organization's goals and metrics, the KPIs for your own careers. And if you're an agency leader, you should be spending more time on business development, in my humble opinion. And you need to block out time for those critical things on your calendar. That's what your calendar should show. You've got to spend more time thinking. You've got to stop doing things that aren't as productive, or at least spend less time on them, in my opinion. So let's talk about meetings and all those Zoom meetings we have all day. I have a very valued client who I respect a lot. And one day we were commiserating over the fact that he told me he's had days of 12-hour-long Zooms with no time in between, no time to prep. And he even said that sometimes he comes, he's not even sure why he's been asked there. I mean, that's insane. He and all of you are not paid for the amount of time you spend in meetings or on Zoom. I believe you're paid for your strategic insights, your creativity, your recommendations, and your leadership. You need your brain to be in top shape to do so. That means giving your brain and your body time to reset in between Zooms and meetings. And there are a few ways to do that. Number one, just know that if someone puts an invitation on your calendar, it's just that. They haven't put the meeting on your calendar, they put the invitation. And you have, for the most part, some choice in that. You might have a little less choice if it's your boss or a client, but for the most part, you have choice. So remember that. They're just asking you. Number two, most people, in my experience, ask for 60 minutes without thinking, does this meeting really require 60 minutes? Does it require 60 minutes to make a decision? So I think when you're invited to a 60-minute meeting, for the most part, you should say, oh, I imagine we can do this in 45, don't you? And if they ask for 45, you can say, I imagine we can do this in 30 minutes. And if they ask for 30 minutes, you know, like what the answer is. Remember that from time to time, it is okay to say, hey, is my participation really required here? Or do you guys want to have the meeting, you hammer it out, and then bring me a recommendation that I can approve? So you'll win back a lot of time by implementing those. Few more things. If you want to maximize your time and you want more time for thinking, and I think you do, you got to focus on minimizing and getting rid of interruptions. And this could be people who interrupt you. It could be that ping and that buzz every time you get a Slack message or a text or an email. That's just insane to give up our focus time for an email, a text, a Slack that may not be critical or timely. Every time our brains are interrupted, experts believe that it takes our brains 15 minutes to recover and get back into full focus mode. So if you're interrupted 8 times in a day, and I think that's true for many folks in the PR business, in the agency business, that means you've lost up to 2 hours of productivity, or you're working 2 extra hours, and either of those, they're insane. So, in our related segment, in our next segment about this important topic, we'll talk about email use. We'll talk about the value of what I call unit tasking versus multitasking. When it comes to multitasking, just because the tech companies say we can do it doesn't mean your brain agrees. It doesn't. Anyway, if you'd like to explore some of this, if you'd like to explore how we can help empower you to increase your productivity, reduce interruptions, and maximize your time, please reach out to me. KEN@JACOBSCOMM.com, KEN@JACOBSCOMM.com, and we'll set up some time to explore. And till next time, keep on taking the lead.